Every year, The Ringer has this event called the NFL Take Purge, where they gather a bunch of their sports writers and allow them to fire off any ridiculous take that they have, without regard for professional credibility. I have been told that that would be a good idea for me to do on my channel, so, after asking all of you for your takes, I gathered some of the most opinionated people that I know for the 2025 NASCAR Take Purge.
How this is gonna work, I'm gonna go down and ask people like down the list of the 5 of us that are participating in this and ask for the take. In between each one, I'm gonna read one of the comments for some takes from the fans from the community post that I put up yesterday.
Are we allowed to react to other people's takes?
Yes, that's the point. That's the entire point.
Okay.
That's literally why we're here.
Okay, gotcha. Then I'm good. I just had to make sure I'm good to react here.
Okay. I guess we're gonna start with Caleb because you're at the top. Big dog.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Justin Haley, overrated, 26th in points.
That's not even lukewarm. That's
room temperature. Sorry.
Yeah,
and even if that, that's gonna happen. And
that needs to go back in the microwave.
Yeah, that's a little cold.
It came from the microwave. That's why it's so not hot.
I think the expectation for Haley is just to finish better than Corey LaJoie in points, which should not be hard to do because Corey LaJoie is bad. But
he's not gonna race, is he?
No, but I mean where Corey LaJoie finished last year in the same ride, which is basically last in points. So basically just finish in the top 30 and he'll be fine. Is kind of the expectation.
Well, before Blue Gold goes, I want to read the first of the fan takes. This one I really enjoy, and it's from YouTuber Jesse King. Do you all know Philip Morris, the race car driver?
The tobacco company?
The tobacco company?
No, that's the problem. He was the king of late model stock cars. I looked him up yesterday.
Speaking of tobacco companies, by the way, we need to bring back tobacco sponsorship.
There's the take.
I need cigarettes and Camels on cars.
Okay, but yeah,
on cars.
He ran a couple of Busch races and a truck race in 2000 to 2003, and YouTuber Jesse King says he would have had a lot more success in NASCAR had he not shared the name of R.J. Reynolds' biggest competitor.
Ooh,
but you said mid-2000s, right?
No, 2000 to 2003.
That name only sounds familiar because I ran a freaking game where I had all the drivers from those years. That's the only reason I even recognize that name. I don't know enough about him to say that he would have been more successful because I know him from what I've seen on Racer, which is probably 5 starts in the lower series or whatever.
Yeah, but he's run a lot of late model stuff and still did up through the 2010s. He won that big late model race in Martinsville a couple times.
So I assume the commenter is positing that he would be some kind of Josh Berry type and show up.
I would argue that it's hard to say just because that era.
His name is Philip Morris, and he was blackballed by Winston. And that's a fact. That's actually unproved wrongable.
I think personally he should have just changed his name and then driven a race car anyways.
He should have changed his name to Winston. What's a brand? He should have changed his name.
How hard would it have been to just be Phil Morris?
He should have changed his name to Winston Select, and he would have been very successful. I think that's.
Are we sure this wasn't JD McDuffie's actual name? That's why he did it.
All right, Blue Gold. I believe you are up.
So start with one that's somewhat lukewarm, but I think can be hot. Every single issue in modern NASCAR is the fault of Brian France, and if Jim France could change it, it would. Everything that fans complain about. The playoffs aren't going anywhere because NBC doesn't want them going anywhere because they need ratings against the NFL. I don't think that NASCAR really cares that much about whether they have a playoff or not, but they can't get rid of it. Stages. I don't think they ever would have happened if Brian France wasn't Brian France, but now that they exist, the TV networks don't want to lose that guaranteed commercial revenue, even though stages are dumb. Same thing with basically any change that they've made. I'm going to blame Brian France for every single thing wrong in the sport. Basically everything that's happened since Jim France took over, mostly positive. Some people just like the next gen car. My other hot take on that next gen car, best car NASCAR has had since the Gen 4 easily.
You called Jim France it at the start of that. I just feel like mentioning that. Here's another fan one before I go. This is from Nathan Midgley. Denny Hamlin will miss the 2025 NASCAR playoffs.
Ooh.
No
I feel like
details.
this is
Hot take, but I don't really.
It's a hot take, but I could see it happening. I mean, he lost to Gabe Hart, who he's been his crew chief for seemingly like, I don't know how long, but it's been a long time.
If he gets a crew chief
Hart-
that's worse than Mike Wheeler.
Yeah, I mean, who is his crew chief this season?
I don't know, but it's not Chris Gabehart. He's had Chris Gabehart since 2019.
One second,
and the thing about
I
it
am
is-
doing research before I make a comment. If it's Chris Gale, he's definitely missing the playoffs.
Stop the presses.
Yeah, Brett's doing research. I know.
I mean, gotta be knowledgeable on what I'm talking about.
So I mean, my thing about it is this: it's not.
Guys,
that-
you know how I
it's-
said if it's Chris Gale, he's missing the playoffs.
It's
His
Chris
crew chief
Gale.
is Chris Gale.
It
His
is
crew
yeah,
chief
it
is
is.
Chris Gale. So,
Yeah. So
not great.
we're talking about a guy who did not win in 2018 before Gabehart came on board, and Gabehart pretty much rejuvenated Hamlin, and a lot of Hamlin's career wins have come in the time frame he's had Gabehart from 19 to this past year. And even then, the back half of this past year, he's looked off. So for him to go winless through the playoffs, at least, like we saw him do in 2021 with Gabehart as his crew chief, I could see that happening. Now, him being low enough in points is a different thing altogether. Now, are we talking that he's going to get penalized by NASCAR some stupid way?
I
Or are we
don't
talking
think
just
he'll
flat
get
out missing the
outright.
playoffs on
I don't
points?
think he'll get outright penalized by NASCAR because NASCAR's not going to risk that legal precedent. However, if NASCAR sees an opportunity to, for example, there's like a little piece of debris. It's just a little piece of paper on the track with Denny Hamlin leading with 4 to go. You know they're throwing that caution this year. Like,
Oh, yeah.
So he's
Yeah,
going to get the full Kurt Busch 2015
yeah,
Fontana
he's gonna get the
treatment.
Kurt.
Correct.
Yeah, he's gonna get the
Except
Kurt
in
Busch
every
Montana
race.
treatment. But
I could see him having a season a lot more like
I think he'll
2018.
still. I will say though, like I think if he doesn't win, it's very likely he misses the playoffs. Like since the next gen took over, we've had very few people pointing their way in. We've had like I think the first year was 15 different winners in the regular season, and then last year I think was 13 different guys in on wins. Like I mean, Chastain was like 9th in the points and missed out. So,
Putting it in is no
we're
longer a
talking about this-
foregone
Well,
conclusion.
because
You can't
Chastain got
fall
fucked
back
by
on that.
every overtime ever.
yeah,
We
Chastain-
had, you got to realize the battle for the last spot in the playoffs in 2022 was between the 3rd and 4th place drivers in points. So
Yeah,
it's
like-
absolutely a case of, this can still happen. It takes a little bit of outside help for it to happen. Can that happen? Yes. Do I think it will happen? I'm inclined to say no. But I do think it could happen.
The other thing we could note is NASCAR did state when they released the rulebook that the playoff format has not been finalized, or they're not sure on what the playoff format will be this season. So,
Oh
That could
no,
also
you're gonna
affect
date when this video comes out.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
January.
I'm sorry,
15th.
my next take's gonna date even more if what happens comes true, because I've got a very strong theory right now.
How do you have multiple takes? This is not how this
I have a
Who
lot
do
of
you think
takes.
you were talking
You've
to?
talked to me before.
I know who I'm talking to.
All right,
I've
up
known him for
now.
years.
I'm up now, and mine is it's not something that I believe, but it's something that I think, and it's something that I fear, because having watched the news and sports over the past year and pretty much my whole life, I know that the disappointing and annoying thing is usually what's going to happen.
That is true.
To that end, Connor Zilic will not be very good this year, and William Sawalich will be very good this year.
Man,
No.
I agree with half of this.
No.
please
Now.
no.
I think Zilic will have a season a little better than SVG this past year, but probably around that level.
I guess
We're
we're going to
like-
jump the line with my take on this.
Yeah, I think Zilic will be more similar to like SVG last year, where he's going to be really good on the road courses and he'll get better on ovals as the season goes. But I think a better playing field than what SVG started off on. Sawalich has shown me nothing to say that he is not the next Riley Herbst.
Yes.
And
Hey,
all,
don't
and
slander
Herbst and
Riley
all the
Herbst.
worst. Riley
Don't
Herbst.
slander Riley Herbst.
No, I'm not. I'm saying he's all the worst parts of Riley Herbst.
Okay.
Minus
Okay, well
the good
this
stuff.
this kind of jumps ahead to a hot take that I had that I wouldn't have said, but I guess I'll say it now. I think Connor Zilic is a dark horse championship 4 contender.
That
mean,
would be a lot more fun than mine.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
think that he has the talent and the capabilities. Get him in the playoffs, and as the season goes on and he gets better on these ovals, he ran well in his oval starts that he had for a really good team already. So now you're talking about an expanded season running full season. I think he has got the capabilities to make a championship 4 appearance in his rookie season. I think it's all there, and I think that 88 car can make it to the championship 4 race, and it's just a matter of how he does it, but I think he's got the capability of doing it.
Now, before Jet goes, I'm going to say this last one from Colonel Pre-Shot. Joey Logano will be a 7-time champion.
I will throw up. I
Well,
will
not,
throw
not this
up.
year.
No way, because
That
like he's basically he's
Don't
a really
say it.
good driver.
Don't
Like,
say
I
it,
don't
or
want
you
to say
would
the word. I don't want to say the word.
Oh,
Mickey
the
Mouse
comments
champion.
are gonna be fun.
Here we
I don't want to
go!
say the word Mickey Mouse champion, but
Oh God.
he's not. But at the same time, like last season, he literally made the playoffs because Nashville turned into a crapshoot with 7 overtimes, and he apparently has the largest fuel tank in NASCAR.
Just save fuel. Just save fuel, guys. It's
Yeah,
not
he
that
did.
hard. It's not that hard.
Clearly, it's
Like,
not if he did it.
Here's the thing about this. Logano
previous
is
years, the previous championships were very earned by him. Last year, though, like
Joey
was-
Logano is qualities of Jimmy Johnson's championships, because he would, like in Jimmy Johnson's case, he'd at least have that little stretch in the beginning of the season or somewhere where he was dominant, and then he'd fall off the cliff. We got that kind of in 2022 with Logano, but the other 2 years he really wasn't up there contending, winning races like crazy,
The difference
and
is
he
about
just pulled
Jimmy.
it out at the end.
The other difference with Jimmy is 6 of Jimmy's 7 championships, the last one notwithstanding, were literally him turning into like a racing god in the playoffs. Like I hate it because I'm a Gordon fan, and I think Gordon would have more championships if not for the playoffs, because Jimmy got all his best tracks loaded into the playoffs. But at the same time, he would usually just turn it on and just destroy everybody in the playoffs, which that team figured out how to play that system. Because Logano doesn't do that. Logano last year literally needed a DQ to even advance to the round of 8. Like, there's a difference between like coming to the playoffs and being dominant in the playoffs, and coming to the playoffs and literally just having everything break your way for the entirety of the playoffs.
I've been watching a lot of like 07, 08, 09 races, and it's every time it'll be Johnson will be running like 6th or 7th for most of the race, and then they'll have a great pit stop with 30 to go, and he'll take the lead, and that'll just be it for the rest of the race.
That's the Jimmy Johnson way.
Yep.
Ooh, can
Like,
I come in with
Like
with
it'd always
the
be there'd be some
Can we say
interesting
that
winner.
Johnson's not making the Daytona 500 yet?
Ooh,
Say it
that
if
might
you
be.
want.
Say it.
He's not going to make it. He's going to DNQ, and it's going to be very hilarious and very embarrassing.
He's going to
Oh
Bump
my
City.
He's gonna go to try to run the
I mean,
Indy 500
he
and get bumped from that.
Well, no, he's got Sebastian Bourdais, who's actually good.
He's got Bourdais. Bourdais is going to fucking...
Yeah, Bourdais is
put that shit top
actually
12
the lead
easy.
driver still, unlike Jimmy Johnson. Also, you got to remember, it is Legacy Motor Club. I'm sure I think it's up to 100 executives. We'll figure out how to make the car fast, though. So,
No, I think
Has
what
anyone
happens
ever
if-
done? Has anyone ever done the Indy 500 and
Oh,
Coke 600 on the same
speaking of
day
hot
and been
take related to
last
Jimmy
in both?
Johnson, Legacy Motor Club.
Like,
is
I'm not
definitely-
even talking.
Oh, sorry, Jet. Go ahead.
I've now completely forgot whatever it was I was saying. It's
Something
it's
about
gone.
somebody running the Coke 600 and the Indy 500 and finishing last in both races.
Yes,
that
it was
would
that.
be the Jimmy Johnson stat line.
Yes,
Here's the
that's
thing, I
Double
think-
tip of
I
all
will-
time.
I will wholeheartedly say that I agree. If Jimmy misses the 500 in Daytona, I think he'll go try to run Indy as a vanity thing to feel better about himself, and then he'll miss that one too.
What does he need to feel better about himself for? He's won 7 championships. Go
But
home.
what has he
Speaking
done
of,
for
Play
himself
with your
lately?
kids.
Speaking of take Johnson, a Legacy Motor Club is definitely a pyramid scheme. That's why they keep hiring executives.
That's a
If you
good
listen
one.
to Denny Hamlin, every NASCAR team's a pyramid scheme.
This talk about Bourdais in the Indy 500 leads me to a take that I was thinking, kind of, but I wasn't going to say it until I really thought about it. Bourdais is going to win.
Oh, you think he's going to win?
I think he's going to win the Indy 500.
I mean, it is Fox. Fox does tend to rig races. I mean, look at the first Daytona 500 they broadcast. Michael Waltrip won that with Darrell Waltrip in the booth. Like, this time,
okay,
Tom Brady,
okay, when you
Fox's
started
biggest
that, I
signing
thought
is on
you
that
were gonna
team.
go in
They're going to
different
rig that race
direction,
for
and I started
anybody. It's going to
giggling.
be the Tom Brady, Jimmy Johnson team.
Oh, no. They're not going to rig it. He's just going to win.
I would like that though. I would very much. I will be in the stands for that, and I hope I see. I really like Sebastian Bourdais.
This probably isn't that much of a hot take, but he would have probably been the dominant car in 2017 had he not wrecked in qualifying.
Yeah, if he had not like destroyed his body.
That
like,
car
Yeah.
was unbelievable.
He was gonna win
And,
that race.
Yeah,
And his teammate finished third, and that's Ed Jones. And Ed Jones is the definition of mid.
All right, does Jet finally want to go now?
I've wanted to go the whole time. The question is, can I?
Do we want to let him go?
Yeah. Well, do you?
yes.
I want to hear it.
Then go.
Oh, it's not that exciting. It's I think Brandon Jones is going to win at least one race, doing Xfinity for part-time. Hopefully he's back in the 19. I feel like that would.
He's in the
But I
20.
think he's going to win it. Oh, okay. He'll have Ryan Truex's best season.
So wait, did you say Brandon Jones?
Yeah, I said I think he's going to get a win running part-time.
He's running
That
full
might
time.
be.
He's full time.
Oh,
He's
that's
full-time for
news to
Gibbs.
me. My apologies. I think he'll. It's a Gibbs car. I think he'll do pretty well.
Also,
Because I remember he was so Jeff Burton-like in 2020 in his ability to just win all his races by either complete accident or the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like that last race before the world ended where he ran Kyle Busch down under green at Phoenix. When he has the equipment, which of course, I mean, it's Gibbs equipment, he can do some shit.
I have a counter hot take for you. None of
Okay.
Gibbs's 3 full-time drivers in the Xfinity Series will win a race this year.
Whoa!
Okay.
Oh!
You said none of the full-time drivers
None
are
of
going to
them,
win a
like,
race?
Are you
Full-time
serious?
drivers are William Sawalich, who is just not ready for Xfinity, and I think he's not going to be anywhere close to winning. Taylor Gray, who is just not that good, and Brandon Jones. Like,
I mean,
you're
this
really
is all
relying
shit.
on Brandon Jones winning this season to get
This
to
is
that
all
win.
shit we
Like,
said about Jesse Love, and then he immediately went out and
Jesse
won
Love
his
literally.
second race.
Jesse Love's only win was a plate track win where he had to beat.
But that's
great
still a
drivers
win.
like
That'll
Brennan
still
Jones.
count against them.
It's still
no,
more than Sheldon Creed has pulled off.
Stop it! Sheldon Creed's the greatest driver ever. I am not going to hear this.
We're not
no,
doing
he is
Creed!
lying.
God,
We're
Shut
not
up,
doing
Copy
the Creed fight on the internet.
Side note on this: how bad is now the Xfinity field with full-time drivers Garrett Smithley, Chris Wright, Blaine Perkins, Dean Thompson?
Don't talk about
And
Chris
more.
Wright like that. He nearly won an
Bring-
ARCA race one time.
Bring back the Bushwhackers.
Oh, I got one. The very first comment I got on the community post was from Billy McCallie saying bushwhacking is good.
Amen.
Did he elaborate?
No, actually, he did. I saw the notification,
Oh.
but by the time I clicked through, he edited it and got rid of the explanation, I think.
What? Bill?
Keep your explanation.
I'll stand up for you, Billy. I'm right there with you.
All right. Okay.
I
can
am.
put in my
big
research because
censorship
I've been
fan.
watching the entire 2005 Bush series. So, let me tell you, some of these Cup guys, either they're making those cars look really good, like Kevin Harvick, or the drivers that they were tossing in for races were awful. Because holy crap, I don't think I've seen a single race that hasn't had Boston Reed eat shit or Brandon Miller eat shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, these drivers are terrible.
Speaking of people from that era, hold on. Speaking of people from that era, Jesse King had several that he said, and the second one is Mark McFarland got shafted by Junior Motorsports after his shoulder injury in 2006 and had all the talent behind the wheel to be a star.
Yeah, but the team wasn't good.
I think it's bushwhacking's good and bad because like the positive to it is I think it really shows you where talent is at. Like the drivers in Xfinity who are actually competing with those Cup guys week in week out. Like, I mean, I'm biased, but y'all know I'm a Stenhouse fan.
Editor's note: fan is an understatement.
For those of you at
Stenhouse's
home,
last season in Xfinity was him beating, was him winning 6 races in an Xfinity series where Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch. Usually you had still it was like after they couldn't run for points, but you still had a decent bit of Cup guys showing up every week, and he went out and was beating them on like mile and a halves and stuff. And I think that And that's where I still hold on to that. I think if he were to actually getting good equipment, he can win in the Cup Series. Like
Here's a hot take.
four-time Cup Series.
Stenhouse wouldn't have won any races if Carl Edwards didn't help him. Especially that Iowa race.
That's true.
That Iowa race is still one of the, that was in his
Yeah,
first
Stenhouse would have
win,
never won the 500 without Carl.
though. No, that was his first career
Yeah,
win, though.
no. If Carl didn't exist, it wouldn't have happened.
That was his second career Xfinity one. He already had won one race in Iowa. He swept the season races of that one.
Yeah, which one of those was the like tire blows and he crashed into him at the
That
line?
was the second. That was his second
blew-
Xfinity
the
series.
engine
That was
Yeah.
the one that was at Iowa.
That
His
was the
engine let
one
go.
where Marty Reed decided as they crossed the line to say, "Guess who wins the race?" for some goddamn reason.
That's your job to tell me, Marty.
Okay.
Who won
You
the
want
race,
to talk
Marty? I
hot
need
takes?
to know.
Marty Reed wasn't that bad.
Okay,
Was it Marty Reed who called the finish lap earlier, or was that somebody else?
that was
That is who.
yeah.
That is him. Yes.
Yeah, Colin
Okay.
Ryan, Blaney, the winner of Kentucky, one
takes
lap
the
early.
white- He comes to take the checker flag, and that's the white flag.
Another first-time winner in the Nationwide Series at Kentucky. It's Ryan Blaney.
Got one more lap to finish
I'm
it
sorry,
off, buddy.
I'm sorry, white flag, white flag.
Have you guys seen the Nationwide Chicagoland finish in 2011 where everybody's running out of gas and all of a sudden they're like everyone, the entire booth gets excited that Trevor Bain's about to do it and Marty Reed's like, can Trevor Bain do it? Can he get his first win? And it's a lap car passing all guys.
yeah.
The camera even pans over to that car, but it's like some random ass driver that no one knows. It's like, oh, actually, it was a back marker.
I
Sorry.
think it was Kevin LePage.
Even better.
Speaking of, people crap on ESPN's coverage of NASCAR in like the early 2010s way too much. It is a million times better than what Fox is currently putting out.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So okay. I know we haven't had that immediately made me go, okay. Did you actually like Scott Goodyear and Eddie Cheever as broadcasters?
That is not NASCAR though.
Oh fuck, sorry.
No, but I did love. Speaking of though, I did love Rusty Wallace's call of the
This is
Indy
the
500.
greatest Daytona 500 of all time.
That was a very forgivable mistake. Why did they put Rusty there anyway?
Is it time for me to spew my hot take that I think everybody
You're the
knows
last
that
one.
is in here? Everybody in here obviously knows this hot take, so it's time
Go
to
for
throw
it.
it out there for the masses. Kyle Busch's 200 plus wins are more impressive than Richard Petty's.
Ooh.
Richard Petty's 200 wins came in a less competitive era where
Just
he was
for
able to get
context-
factory support where others weren't able to get it.
Just
And
for
while
context-
yes,
Just for context for those listening, as I am a Stenhouse fan, he is a Kyle Busch fan.
it's obvious.
Okay.
I think it comes pretty obvious when I say I think Kyle Busch is better than Richard Petty in some regard that I might like Kyle Busch. Yes. I think that his wins were more impressive because even though he was racing top equipment in the lower series when he was running them, for example, running with JGR, running his own team and everything that was Toyota backed, it's still a case of you're having to compete with what you're left out with. And it wasn't like he was racing nobody every race. He was racing a lot of other Cup drivers, or he was racing other drivers that were talented enough as it was in those series. Losing races to Cole Custer in the Xfinity series and, of the like, he's lost races plenty of times to people that have been in similar equipment. He's had challenges to win those races, unlike Richard Petty, who is able to go lap the field because, I got a better motor than everybody here. These little farmers, these boys that don't know how to race, we're the damn. Yeah, I think Kyle Busch's were way more impressive than Richard Petty's.
I have an addendum to this.
All right.
I'll give you the Xfinity, the nationwide wins. But those truck fields he's whipping in like 2009, 10, no.
Hey, don't you disrespect Colin Brown like that.
Colin Brown, David,
Colin Brown is an elite
it was Hornaday, and it was maybe that other guy that we don't talk
And of
about.
course, this also is really proof of because of the bushwhacking fandom that I have too. Because how cool was it that at one point in time there was one guy that led the points in all three series at the same time? That is badass. If Ron Chastain did that today, I'd be in love with it. I think it'd be freaking
There's
amazing.
hot
He
take.
did in 2019.
Kyle Busch was
I'd
never
like
going to
it.
win a
Did
Cup
today.
title until they passed the bushwhacking rules that kept him from running every series.
He probably could have won the title in 2008 if he wasn't bushwhacking like crazy. Yeah,
Exactly.
but
Wait, that's a really good one, actually. That's a really good
That-
take.
There you
Like,
go,
compelling.
Brett. You got
I
a
mean,
good take.
he tired himself out. I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably tired himself out.
Yeah, his
I
attention
know,
was
like-
divided.
I remember seeing from 2006 when Harvick ran every Busch race and every Cup race. He said that by the end of the season he was absolutely wiped out.
Yeah.
Or this may have been
Let's
2001.
make it a little
actually.
let's make it a little more. If he
Well,
had
that's like
just
how-
skipped all the races that weren't companion dates and not had to go out and do those, he probably would have done a little better in 2008.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, in like 2010, he still had a long shot chance to win the championship until he took himself out of it, wrecking Ron Hornaday. Or actually, no, and when Ron Hornaday wrecked himself, obviously.
Clearly.
Wait a minute. I don't know about that one.
Oh wait a
No,
minute.
look
That
at the
might
replay,
be
obviously.
legacy.
Yeah,
Leg-
Ron Hornaday turned across his bumper.
Legacy bad take. Legacy bad take is the individual who thought Hornaday deserved it. No, yeah, when he takes out Hornaday, you hear it anytime you hear them call in during like a Kyle anything and you hear the spotter audio. The spotter just always sounds so fucking done in like early Kyle bits. Especially right there where he's about
like-
to take out
It's like,
Hornaday.
hey, calm down. Hey,
Okay.
like he's talking about
You
a
even
cat
hear it.
that's about to not knock the expensive vase off of
Yeah.
the table, and then he
Yeah.
does it anyway.
Track and now, Kyle Busch not happy at all.
It's all good, dude.
And Kyle Busch is going to turn over and bring the wall. A championship contender.
I think in that Texas clip, you even hear the spotter as it's all happening go, oh god, and like throw his
Yeah, he was
headset.
like, God damn it!
You hear him just be like,
Damn
fuck
it,
this.
damn it. He's like screaming, damn it. And it's like, oh, Kyle
Yeah.
Busch is still Ron Hornaday.
I'm just picturing that Bills assistant coach.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ken Dorsey.
Yeah. Dorsey was doing
Ken
that.
Dorsey.
All right, everyone. I have an interesting question. This is a question, not take.
We may or may
All
not
right.
have interesting answers.
For us.
This is about a team in 2025 in the Cup Series.
Okay.
Out of the 3 drivers at Front Row Motorsports, Todd Gilliland, Noah Gragson, and Zane Smith, which one do you think is going to finish highest in the points at year end?
Actually, I picked Zane Smith.
Mhm.
Dude, what? Huh?
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
Zane looked really good by the end of the season.
I don't think this team is the biggest question mark for me. I have no idea how good they're going to be. I have no idea how good McDowell carried. I have no idea, any of that stuff. there is nothing on that team that doesn't have a question mark. So going off of what we had last year, I think the best driver on that list not best, consistent. Because if we wanted to go by peaks, then I'd pick Gregson. But Zane Smith will probably be the most consistent out of them all. So he'll probably be the best one.
Yeah, he'll be consistently awful. That's why I'm taking
Yo!
money, Michael McDowell, baby.
He's on Inspire now.
That 71 wasn't doing anything with Zane Smith. Michael McMoney's going to come in, win 5 races, and win the championship. You can bank on that.
But he is on a different team, so.
Anytime I talk about Michael McDowell, he proves me wrong. So I'm just not going to talk about him anymore.
I think
say
Todd
he should. He
Gilliland.
wins the
I think
Daytona
Todd
500.
Gilliland
I
is gonna
say
be
he's
the best
good. He
driver.
embarrasses himself. I'm tired of it. I
Michael
don't care
McDowell.
about him anymore.
3-time Daytona 500 champion.
I think that it's going to be Noah Gragson. I don't really want it to be Noah Gragson, but I think it will be because he would just occasionally pop up last year and finish in the top 10 at random. And also he's driving the single-digit number. And I think psychologically they're going to give him better equipment, like subconsciously, because of that.
They're gonna think he's Kevin Harvick.
I think Michael McDowell is actually a robot that NASCAR created to make people think the COT could withstand tough crashes, and then they
No.
just know what to do with him after.
No,
So they just let him poke around.
No, he died in the wreck at Texas, and they replaced him with a
They
robot.
that
How
makes more
quickly did they do that? There's video of him getting out of the car.
sense. They work very fast.
Photoshop. That's
They
Photoshop.
work very fast.
Don't
just
believe
like-
everything you see
Speed
on the
broadcast
internet.
was on
Don't
delay.
It's just
saw
like
it
the
on
guy who
TV.
walked
I
in-
was a
it's
kid.
like
I
the
was
guy who
watching
walked
that.
out of the house.
Nobody.
Oh, you just
nobody at the
believe everything you
racetrack-
see with your eyes,
Exactly.
baby boy.
Nobody was
Just like
at
the
the
guy
racetrack
who
to
walked out of the
attest to it.
hospital at Halifax in 2020 was definitely not Ryan Newman.
What the hell?
The Ryan Newman that won the SRX championship, Cyborg.
There's
Yeah.
a reason he had to miss 4 races. It's because he had to miss more races after getting out of the hospital. It's because they had to reprogram his brain to be like Ryan Newman.
Wait, so they built a robot, but they just had it act like somebody else?
Greg
Then
Biffle
they
is a
had to-
lizard person.
NASCAR paid Matt Kenseth to go attack Keselowski in those hollers.
Because that looks like a
ESPN
fucking.
paid for that.
It looks like a fucking WWE backstage bit.
It looks like a
it's
WWE
so perfect.
scene from a WWE video game.
ESPN absolutely paid the drivers involved in that fight for that fight happening, and you cannot tell me otherwise.
They also
and it's
paid
so entertaining
To drum
and
up
so
drama
goofy.
and interest in the first.
They also paid
case.
Kevin Harvick to
Yes.
shove Brad Keselowski to Jeff Gordon in
The only way it could have been more perfect is if Kenseth ran in with a fucking chair.
Okay, we need another hot take about Corey LaJoie. I think Corey LaJoie can win a Cup Series race if given the right opportunity.
Well, I mean, anyone can.
With all the stars alive.
Yeah, if they
I
put
mean,
you
anyone
in, like,
can.
I think.
in a fucking.
I mean,
All
I'll
the
take
stars
Cody
aligned,
Ware.
if the moon is
I
out,
would
if
ride
the penis
at a
is in
race.
Gatorade or whatever.
if he
And
gets
then-
to ride at a plate race this season, I think he could have a shot. If it's I mean, the Rick Racing 15, I think maybe is not the best, but I think he could have a shot with it still. He's been a really good Super Speedway racer, and he's finished top 5 very consistently at these races. I think that he is a driver that, just if he could get that last star to align with him, I think he'd have a chance to win a race.
Corey LaJoie seemed like a great driver until he got teammates who actually were competent, and not Ty Dillon.
That's because of the
I've
fact
got the
that he
I've got
wasn't
the
many
worst
goals.
take. I think I have the worst take for
What's the worst
2025.
take?
Cody Ware outperforms Corey LaJoie.
Well, that's one
shit.
full time.
You
One
got guys
full
running
time.
full
One
time.
not. Here's my take.
What?
Cody Ware finishes top 30 in points.
What is
Top
wrong?
30.
Are you smoking crack? Are you smoking
Look,
crack?
the Rick Ware cars are better, but it's still Cody Ware.
Cody Ware last season in like his spot starts was like running like top 25, top 20 almost every race. Like he was
And then
not,
he's gonna run full time this season and finish top 30, maybe once or twice, maybe 3
I mean,
times even if
let's
we're lucky.
look at full-time drivers. He's gonna finish ahead of Ty Dillon in the points because it's Ty
That's the
Dillon.
lie. That's not true. Ty
Yeah, that's
Dillon
not
will win
true.
a race and make the playoffs.
Okay,
Ty
back
Dillon
up,
this
back up,
year's
back up.
Harrison.
Back
Ty
off,
Dillon
back
this
off,
year's
back
Harrison
off.
Burton.
I cannot wait with
We knew
regards
there
to
would be-
Legacy Motor Club for the Bob Pockris tweet on August 15th, 2025, where he says that like Jimmy Johnson's been arrested for like participating in a money laundering scheme.
Yeah. It was a
Legacy
pyramid
Motor-
scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. I'm telling you. Legacy
I
Motor
was-
Club. Pyramid
No,
scheme.
He's
I
talking
mean,
about.
it even
fucking-
has the name of a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
sounds like a shitty multi-level marketing scheme.
He's
It's-
gonna-
it
Welcome to
sounds like I'm
Legacy
gonna
Motor
get a
Club.
Frank-
That you
it
can
sounds like
sell your
sponsored by
membership
Dollar
to
Tree.
other people
It
and make
sounds like
money off of them.
It sounds like I'm gonna get a frantic call from one of my aunts being like, I bought too many Legacy Motor Clubs. Help.
No, it's
Please
gonna be
buy one of
Carvana.
them.
It's gonna be Carvana. You're gonna see Jimmy Johnson next to Dan Quayle in court.
Can you put Greg Biffle's Wii car slowly going across the screen left to right?
Yeah, if we keep this part in, then yeah. Now things have calmed down a little bit, so I want to introduce another comment on the community post from Ryan Perez. Austin Dillon is a good driver.
I don't know if he's said
Okay.
this to the right people.
I think
Okay,
he is actually.
okay, wait.
I truly
let's
believe he is.
take
Oh, I
this at
think he
face
is like
value.
he's great value, Jamie McMurray.
He doesn't
Yeah.
win often, but when he does, a lot of them are crown jewels. That's similar.
And yeah, like to be fair, like people forget at Richmond last year, he randomly showed up and had the best car. Austin
it's
Dillon is great value, Jamie McMurray, and I will hear nothing else on that matter.
Well, I'll disagree with that because Jamie McMurray's grandpa didn't own a racing team. That's the one point where
That is fair. That is a fair point.
And he also, Jamie McMurray hopped in Sterling Marlin's car and went out and won in like his second cup race. Dylan got to win some races, but he took a while. Dylan took a while.
Hot take on this. Sterling Marlin is that
You can't just react to me just reading your last hot take with a new hot take.
Sorry, people forget that Sterling Marlin just randomly was the best driver in NASCAR for like the last half of 2001 and the first half of 2002. Like,
And then he broke his neck.
was never
and then
that
he was
great
done.
before, was never that great after. But like
Him with Morgan McClure.
him and
I've been
McClure
watching
was
some of
really
those
good at the
races.
plate they were great at the plate tracks, but that was about it. Like Morgan McClure underrated. Hot take: Morgan McClure even better on plate tracks than DEI at their peak.
Good
Morgan
at
McClure at
plate
their peak
tracks.
was basically unbeatable as a one-car team.
But it's not like they sucked everywhere else. Like I just watched Ernie Irvan win a race at Bristol.
But I think that was their only non-plate win was that one Ernie Irvan Bristol race, unless I'm
Oh, that would
mistaken.
make sense. Yeah.
I've got a new one. Another comment from Gunfighter009. NASCAR tracks should be smaller, like Baby Park.
What do they mean by smaller?
What was,
Do they
wait,
mean,
what
like,
was this
they
guy's
should
name again? What was this individual's name again?
Gunfighter009.
Does he,
Mr.
did he
Mr.
specify
Fighter.
whether he means
Mr. or
smaller?
Mrs. Fighter, how are we going to make the track smaller?
I need clarification. They didn't specify whether it's smaller as in like the tracks like we need to run like at like quarter-mile tracks, or like smaller as in we need smaller grandstands.
Given the fact that
I'm
they
gonna choose
said
to
like
believe-
Baby Park, I'm gonna say it's track size.
I would
choose to
disagree.
No, have you
like,
guys seen the capacity
I
of
would
Baby
love to
Park?
see
I
the
don't think
truck
there's many
series.
fans there.
I would love to see the truck series start to go to some of those smaller tracks again, but I don't think that's going to happen because I don't think the truck series, the purses aren't big enough, and the money's not there to make it worthwhile for the truck series to do that. Like that, there's a reason why the truck series quickly moved away from their initial model of running like mainly short tracks and stuff like that. Okay, so this season, and this is a theory that I came up with yesterday. I think y'all saw it when I was talking about it in here. Hayek Motorsports is going to be with Toyota this year, and there's a very good chance I'm wrong on this. But this is the I'm like the always sunny meme with like all the little threads connecting here. Stenhouse has showed up to the Chili Bowl this week driving for Chad Boat Industries, which is the primary Toyota TRD team. Ty Gibbs is running for them, for example. Last year he ran for another Toyota team, Keith Kunz Motorsports, but last year when he ran for them, every other car on that team had heavy Toyota branding. Stenhouse's car, only Toyota branding was the TRD engine cover that all the Toyota engines have. This year his car has Toyota in it on the front, on the name rail, everywhere, like Toyota, TRD, all over it. Chevy is the team that is most protective of their drivers, like not wanting them to deal with other manufacturers.
Parker Retzlaff.
I personally do not believe that Chevy would let a Chevy driver drive in a very clearly Toyota branded car. For example, Toyota does make the best engines for midget racing, like in the Chili Bowl. However, Kyle Busch is running a TRD motor. He has no TRD branding other than the TRD engine cover for the Chili Bowl. Stenhouse has heavy TRD branding. Additionally, his Twitter, I believe, used to say #Team Chevy on it. That was removed from his profile. Hayek Motorsports has not announced anything about their team basically at all. Their website is currently just like a still under construction page that doesn't mention Chevy at all. Usually, like teams, like when they're like with a manufacturer, have it pretty clearly indicated that they're like a Chevy. They'll have the Chevy logo somewhere pretty clearly evident. Usually, most of the time, like it's rare that you see it without like the Chevy, about Chevy stuff. My only inclusion here is that Hayek Motorsports is no longer with Chevy and has moved to Toyota, and because they are so little involved on social media and nobody cares about, no one knows this.
I mean, if you reasonably thought that 2311 was going to be tied up in this thing for a whole year and you were going to have 2 less cars on track, if I was TRD, I'd see the logic behind that.
Plus, it would bring plus. I mean, Hayek, I would say, is probably bottom of the Chevy totem pole. Like, from what I've heard, they don't get a lot of manufacturer support. Like they don't get sim time. They don't get all that. They get Hendrick engines, but that's about the only thing they're getting from Chevy. Like,
I think they would have gotten a lot more support if they had kept it as Zero Cows Racing.
I don't think it was ever. I don't think Zero Cows ever was like truly involved. I think they were just saying shit.
Was that just a joke post?
One second, I'm checking on LinkedIn if Zero Cows Racing has posted anything since then.
Yeah, Zero Cows is just some milk company that wanted to feel included.
I mean, it might be a sponsor. They were posting looking for sponsors. They have not announced a single sponsor, by the way, for this team this season.
What if the team just dies?
Not even.
What was just dead? This is gone.
Yeah, everybody was thinking that
as a Stenhouse fan, I would be very, very sad.
Everyone was thinking that NASCAR was gonna like eminent domain the 2311 charters for their own in-house team, but it's gonna be Hayek. I want to close out the video with the final take from the comment section, and it is from Matthew Amato 625. There is nothing wrong with the NASCAR playoffs. Don't know why everyone's complaining.
No. Motorsports should have a season-long championship, first of all. Like, I don't know if everybody here is in agreement on this. I just
I am.
don't like having a playoff in motorsports in any format. I get that that's probably not going to be going away, but that's just my opinion. On the same token, like, the problem with this playoff, we saw it last year with Joey Logano. Like, winning in is not great. Like, look at what like Dylan felt like he had to do to make the playoffs.
Whoa. Oh. The purge is over. Well, thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed that, we might do more in the future. Hopefully we'll get back to regular videos soon. I was sick for the entire first half of January, so I wasn't able to work as much as I wanted to. Yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed, leave a like and a comment so we know if people want more of this in the future. And I'll see you next time.
Greg Biffle just fucking licks his eye in front of Jamie McMurray, just goes, "No one's gonna believe you," and walks away.